So I recently went to this thing called an Indian Photo Festival where um, there was a speech and a presentation that was given by a photographer, a female photographer named Gulnara Samoilova, and she basically started out as at AP photography, I guess, AP photo, AP news, or whatever you call that, and then she went on to take a few interesting pictures of the 9/11 incident, and then eventually she kind of did a lot of different things and moved ahead in her career. So what she did very recently was curate a few photos by women photographers and created a page called Women's Photographies or something on those lines. And she says something interesting about social media, right? Social media, the phrase itself says social. Social is when, let me just read the definition for social. Social means relating to a society or its organization, or needing companionship, an informal social gathering, etc. etc. So that's what social refers to. So when it comes to social media, we kind of tend to use it not for these purposes. We neither socialize, we don't look for companionship, nor we, just do any informal gathering where we can, engage with one another, so on and so forth. You get the idea. What we use social media primarily for is to seek validation, right? We just post something on social media and we expect likes, we expect replies, comments, and if you are a content creator, you expect shares, saves, you know. That's what's happening on Instagram right now. So I think social media has deviated from what it actually tried to be. It tried to be this online platform. Social Each and every social media app has made an effort to become an online platform where people could come together and yeah, basically interact with one another, chat, share pictures, comment. Yeah, that's definitely what was intended. But then again, when the concept of monetization has come in, when it was probably at some point of time figured out that social media had a lot of potential to make money through ad revenue, they completely flipped the switch from something that's supposed to be promoting socialization virtually has become something that promoted, you know, showing off your lifestyle for validation in return. This cycle kept going on. Whatever you see, the views, likes, shares, comments, and all of these things, things going trendy, things going viral, and all of these things subconsciously are a way to kind of just instill in ourselves, instill in everyone who uses social media a sense of unfulfillment. Like, you're not unfulfilled when you get 5 likes or 5 views or 50 views. You want 500 views, and when you get 500 views consistently, you see someone's getting 5,000, you want that, and from there on you keep wanting more and more and more. Now, if you organically do that, if you actually love putting out the content without really bothering about the validation you're getting for it, you might grow, you might not grow, but at the end of the day, you're already satisfied doing that. But if you're not actually loving what you're doing, you're just in this vicious cycle where you constantly put out content for more views, you don't get more views, so you try to put better content. One of those things, might become viral or trendy or whatever, and then that kind of gives you that dopamine hit, and you think like, oh, there's something that's happening, something interesting is happening, and you kind of just get into this vicious cycle that never ends. And this is how social media companies are making a lot of money. The feeding off of people's um, a sense of unfulfillment, a sense of the necessity to have validation, and so on and so forth. So in this particular festival, this particular photographer has said a very interesting thing. When someone comments on your post, just don't say thank you. Just don't be like, just give a few emojis, or don't try to flatter one another. Instead, just type out a few sentences of what you think about them, or like ask them a question. What do they think about the photo? And something on those lines. It's called social media. It's called social. There should be some interaction. There should be some organic growth of that interrelationship between you, your followers, the people who engage with your content, and the people whose content with which you engage. That's when you form these kinds of organic connections that might lead to more opportunities for you and for others as well. you know Social media should not be a place where you just limit yourself to knowing them on that particular virtual platform. It can definitely be something where you can convert that into something real, where let's say you are a photographer, assume, or hypothesize, and you come across a very interesting photograph. You talk to that person, you comment on his posts, you kind of interact with that person, and if they live in the same city, possibly set up a meetup. Just go out, talk to them, learn about their experiences, whatever they have learned through their journey. It might be a wonderful lesson for you, it might be a wonderful experience for them to be teaching what they have learned. In that way, there's growth between both of you. So social media need not necessarily be you know restricted to virtual platforms. It not need not be restricted to just posting and kind of interacting with people and just leaving it like that. Engagement does not mean just commenting on the post, liking it. I see a lot of Instagram growth coaches who say, as soon as you post a picture, just search for accounts that post similar kind of content, engage with them, comment, and when they reply to your post, reply back, and a day later like it, so that they come back to your profile a couple of days later, because they get the notification then. While this is good from a growth perspective, it is not that great from an organic growth perspective. It's, I would say, pseudo organic to kind of gain a following like that, instead of actually engaging with that person and growing something organic out of it. So that particular thing that she said, it's called social media. Social media, use it to connect with people, use it to find opportunities and to seize them, to meet new people in real life. At the end of the day, the real life is what we have. The virtual reality is not really existing. We don't want to get sucked into this virtual reality. At the end of the day, we just want these things, the virtual reality, the virtual platforms, social media, all these things to complement our real life rather than substitute it, right? So this is one thing that I have listened to and wanted to talk about.